Hello, everybody. Nice to be here. I am Anirudh. I'm one of the founding team members at Bhumitra, and currently I lead business development and partnerships for APAC and Africa. And yeah, I've set up Bhumitra's carbon projects in India, in East Africa, and at the very beginning of the year, I was in the Pampas, where we have a project as well. I'll quickly take you through what Bhumitra does, and of course, if there's any questions, I shall try my best to answer them. And I hope my screen is visible. If Srikanth, I can see if you can just give me a thumbs up if my screen is visible. Thank you so much, appreciate it. So yeah, we are Bhumitra. Bhumitra in Sanskrit translates to friend of the earth, and that is essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, but we want to do that by keeping the farmers, the ranchers, the stewards of the land at the center of this ecosystem. And of course, restoring or regenerating lands have so many co-benefits, all the way from saving water to livelihood improvement. There are so many co-benefits can come out of regenerating land. And of course, huge potential for carbon removal, right? So Professor Ratan Lal, who's one of the gurus of soil science, says that we've lost at least 133 billion tons of carbon since the start of modern agriculture. So huge opportunity to put this back into the soils and of course, create wide-ranging co-benefits. Yeah, so what's the problem today in enabling carbon markets for the global south, for the smallholder farmers? One, of course, by the name of it, is that the farm sizes are extremely small. And given the small farm sizes, transparency and the monitoring, reporting, verification, the MRV, becomes a very, very big challenge. This causes sort of structural problems in a carbon project, right? And of course, thirdly, even if you want to do transparent projects, measuring the soil carbon is not only very, very, very time consuming. Sometimes even countries don't have the capacity to do large carbon projects, but it also is very, very expensive. It leaves projects sort of unviable, right? And yeah, very quickly, I'll take you through what a carbon project cycle looks like. So first of all, you choose a third-party methodology, right? Then, of course, you list the project with the third-party standard and you describe the project as to what your interventions are, where you're working. You then go to a UNFCCC certified carbon auditor, a VVB, as we call it in our world, a validation and verification body to state whether the things we have written on our project document are true or not, and to check the math of the emissions reduction which we are claiming, whether they are true or not. And then, of course, once everything is done, the third-party credits are issued to us, which can be traded with entities who have net zero targets. Probably this is one of my most important slides today. Is that carbon as a new crop for the farmer, the commodification of carbon. So leveraging carbon markets, farmers can gain access to a new source of finance for adopting every additional ton of carbon. So if there's a business as usual scenario, we need to go one step above that, and whatever carbon is sequestered through that additional practice is something that can be incentivized in the market for, and we need this to happen, of course, at scale. This is how we do our carbon projects, and we have sort of two pillars in our whole business, which is that of technology and partnerships. And I hope that this slide will sort of bring them together. We work with a lot of farmers, and we work with these farmers through very, very localized partnerships. And these partners have the expertise in training farmers in adopting improved land management practices, right? When these practices are undertaken, there is an improvement in soil carbon, which we are able to measure through our proprietary remote sensing capabilities, right? And of course, we're able to measure these, we're able to monitor these, we are able to, very importantly, go to a third-party standard and certify these carbon removal credits, which are then sold to large corporates who have net zero targets. And whatever value is generated per ton, majority of that gross value is transferred back to the farmer into her bank account, right? And then, of course, we know that our partners are doing such an amazing job, so much hard work. So we also provide them with a very, very healthy percentage of the credit value, creating a sort of a self-sustainable ecosystem, which sort of funds itself year on year on year, and of course brings in more farmers year on year on year, which is sort of our goal. A little bit about our technology. We use many different satellites across the electromagnetic spectrum, and then calibrate them using ground truth data. And we not only want to give the farmers sort of carbon finance, we have the ability to do a bunch of other things: the nitrogen, the phosphorus, the potassium, the soil moisture. All of these are provided to the farmer today at no cost, because the carbon finance is going to fund this ecosystem. So if you ask me personally, the ag tech and extension funded by carbon ecosystem that we are building is more exciting to me than purely saying that, hey, here's $10, here's $20. We believe that ecosystem-based approach can forge a better relationship with the farmer, but more importantly, a more long-term relationship with the farmer. Cannot emphasize enough about our partners. And unfortunately, there's only so many I can put on the screen today. We have so many different partners, ranging from nonprofits like Wild Hunger to UN agencies like the World Food Program, to agribusinesses like DCM Shriram and Wellspun, to the Yaras of the world. So anybody who is helping the farmers adopt improved land management practices, we want to work with them. We want to scale our program. Today, from the 5 million acres we are in the 11 global south countries that we operate in, to 50 million acres. It's our internal goal, 50 million acres by the end of 2025. That's what our goal is. And yeah, I mean, you can see the sort of the length of the areas we're covering, all the way from the Chihuahua and the Sonoran deserts in Mexico, to the croplands and the grasslands in Brazil, Argentina, and of course in the Pampas, to East Africa, where we are working with the grasslands and smallholder farmers, and of course in India, where I am based, where we are working with close to 84,000 farmers, ranging from half acre farmers, to of course the large farmers in India, which are 3 or 4 or 5 acres a lot of times, and bringing them into the ecosystem, creating sort of an inclusive carbon market for everybody to take to create adaptation with. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I mean, people, if they're on there from India, especially in Delhi, they may relate to this on a very sort of a very practical level. The air quality index in Delhi has become toxic. It's equivalent to smoking 27 cigarettes a day over the past week. And one of the reasons for that is the high stubble burning which takes place in Punjab, Haryana, and Western UP, right? So through the carbon finance mechanism, we've done this study, we've done it at scale. You can solve this problem altogether, and it can be solved at a cheaper rate than what the government is putting in subsidy. So it's about repositioning finance. But anyway, here's a real world example, which this is a farmer. This is last year, I saw this farmer. I do not know this farmer, who this farmer is, but I saw the burned field. I took the geo coordinates and sent them to our very talented geospatial team, who then mapped out what the soil organic carbon levels were over the past 4 years. And you can see at the end of November and December, where the stubble burning takes place, right? You're seeing a big drop in the soil carbon stocks, right? That's you're seeing a very, very big drop in the soil carbon stocks. Now, here is one of our carbon farmers who is not only doing the mulching, but at the same time planting the wheat seed, so enabling sort of minimum tillage to take place as well. Now over here, you're seeing in the same time period, the quantum of drop, the slope of the drop in this field is much lower as compared to the farmer who's burning the stubble. And of course, we're not talking about water savings right now, because mulching your crop residue not only has good impacts on your soil health, but can help you save so much money within 15 days by putting in one cycle less of irrigation. Very quickly, we're a 2.5-year-old company. We've received various accolades, one of the major ones being yesterday, which we got it. But of course, ranging from the World Economic Forum to the World Food Program to the FAO to, of course, Niti Aayog, which is the premier think tank of the government of India. Finally, as of yesterday, we are the winner of the Earthshot Prize in the Fix Our Climate category by Prince William. So yeah, it's a testament to our work, but more importantly, I really hope that this highlights the importance that the global South and the smallholder farmers and the pastoralists can play in helping our planet keep that 1.5. I'm very optimistic. Keep that 1.5 degree target, create adaptation, and as importantly, or most importantly, improve their livelihoods, and to do it at scale. Yeah, and finally, what we want, how carbon markets in our world should function is through transparency. For far too long, data sets have not been shared openly. That needs to change. People need to know what's going on. The majority of the revenue should be with the landowners, right? Because they are the stewards, or they are going to outlast me, you, and probably everybody on this webinar in their connection with the land. Inclusivity. Why are we keeping smallholder farmers out of the carbon market ecosystem? We need to bring them inside, and we need to do this at scale. And of course, there needs to be checks and balances on all of us, including ourselves, of course, where it needs to be third-party certified based. With that, I yield my time. I see there are some questions. If it's okay, I'll try. If there are any questions, I can try and take them. Yeah.
Thank you, Anirudh. I do not see any questions presently. Why don't we move forward into the next presentation with Srikanth, and we will gather other questions that come up along the way.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Matt, and over to you, Srikanth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anirudh. That was a wonderful presentation. Thanks, Matt. Can you please enable me to share my screen?
You can share your screen at the base by hitting the green arrow up button.
Host disabled participant screen sharing. Oh. Yep.
Let's see here.
Can't get it right yet.
Srikanth, do you?
Yeah, now I can. Surely. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, we can. Proceed forward.
Yep. Hello, everyone. My name is Srikanth. I work in the Innovations Hub of ICRISAT, which is based in Hyderabad, India, with offices in many nations in Africa, about 9 of them. And we work in the semi-arid tropics. We have a mandate. We now are one CGR research institution. And we have an exclusive space for the digital agriculture within our team here. And I head the Innovations Hub, where I am also sitting and presenting you. I have a PhD in post-harvest technologies by research, and last 8 years I've been involved in digital ag, working with AI, ML related projects. My topic is on farmer-centric digital technologies for transforming smallholder farmers and agriculture, especially in the semi-arid tropics, but it is applicable equally to all around the globe. This first slide of mine is actually about what is happening in agriculture over last 2.5 centuries. So we all know how agriculture and industry have been going together with a very huge difference, especially since the steam being used as power. And then later, with electricity coming into vogue and the green revolution, we have seen huge investments into the input industry and use of fertilizer, pesticides, and the tractors and the mechanization. And later on, late mid 90s, I believe the industry electronic field was also triggering changes in the way agriculture was carried on with various guidance systems, precision farming, and variable application of nitrogen fertilizer. But in the recent past, that is around 2015, 17, around that time, we believe the intelligence has taken over and agriculture 4.0 seems to be nearing the industry. And I do not know what is in store in the future, but I definitely, both the industry and agriculture look together, just like what the previous speaker was talking on, the carbon credits and carbon farming. So that's the future, where I do not have a reasonable explanation to give you an insight, but that's where we are heading. And I do not know when it will take over, but it already started. The place where I'm sitting actually is the Innovation Hub. Down below on the left, you see three prominent people, one from the IT Minister of the state, where we are based, the Agriculture Minister, and David Bergvinson, our ex-Director General, who was inspiring and actually visioning this field of agriculture, digital
Srikanth,
agriculture.
could
Hello?
we please pause? Could you please share the different screen? I think we're only seeing the PowerPoint slide rather than the actual presentation slide. I'm just noticing. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So I had gone from the first slide to the third, actually. This was my second slide, where the industry and what is happening in agriculture for the last two and a half centuries.
Yeah.
Could
you hit the present mode, please?
Yeah, that's what I was doing earlier. Okay. Can you see the screen in the presentation mode?
We cannot. It is only on the actual PowerPoint.
Yeah. Let me.
Sorry to interrupt. It just was pointed out to me from the audience.
Okay. So maybe I will just increase the size over here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yes,
That
if you
should do.
can't find a second monitor.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Proceed, please.
Yep. This is about the second slide that I was presenting on the centuries, 2.5 centuries of what was happening. I took some of this from many articles and other publications, so I did not know how to give a reference, but yeah. Coming to the inception of the Innovations Hub for the agri-tech environment, we wanted, as ICRISAT is basically a crop research institute, the ecosystem of agriculture science and researchers, and with experiments and everything around in this ecosystem. So we wanted the tech companies to have a space, co-working space, and also an incubation facility, which was already existing in ICRISAT for the last 20 years for the sectors in processing, biotech, was used to incubate the tech companies here in ICRISAT. So the Agriculture Minister and the IT Minister and David Bergvinson, our previous Director General, the vision started in 2016. Its implementation started at that time, but formalized only in 2017 February. And there are some climate smart apps that I call, but these are basically made for smallholder farmers, reaching out advisory on plant protection products and using artificial intelligence. Then weather related applications like Mausam Meghdut and Mausam. And then recently, a year ago, we developed an application called Ridda. It's a digital board game to increase awareness and participation of farmers in using common pool of resources. And there is a A very important area of work that we started 4 or 5 years ago was on ISAT, which is acronym for Intelligent Agriculture Systems Advisory Tool, where weather-based advisory right before the season and during the season is given to the farmers in a located area, which the project areas that we choose. It has not yet been scaled up in many places, but it is there in Africa and in a couple of states in India right now, being still in the piloting stage. I come to this innovation that started here, this German startup actually about Plantix application. This is this a screen about the users for the last 3 years, which I have included here. And most of the users have been in India, about 3/4 of them, and spread across the entire world. So every dot represents a user here. And this application has been widely used because of it's user friendly, and it gives information to the user, targeted extension information. That is, if you are a rice grower and you have a problem with your crop, take a picture of it. You get immediate detection with an accuracy of more than 90%, and a recommendation that follows for what are the control measures for this application, for the problem that they're facing. So we also conducted a lot of field performance evaluation trials in farmers field, staggering almost 9,500 plus sample size over the past 3 years, more than 93% detection instantly for the trained algorithms for the classified pest diseases or even nutrient deficiencies. Yes, technologies are wonderful, but we can also miss out. For example, I talk about this fall armyworm invasion that happened in 2018. This was reported in May 2018 in the newspapers and later in articles. But the app was able to actually sniff it out and give recommendations to the farmers who were way earlier in Jan and Feb of 2018 itself in India. So we did not have a risk register of what were the pests and diseases which were not yet found in the Indian subcontinent. So we missed out on the important fleeting glory that a researcher would have on reporting it first. So one of our PhD students who will be submitting a thesis this year has already produced one scientific poster in Germany last year, and actually this is on the way for publications. We hear a lot about drones, and we believe because India is investing a lot in drones, and we are aware how drones have come into the marketplace of servicing farmers in terms of lowering the labor costs by using the agrochemicals in the field during the cultivation. So what we did was experiments to actually sniff out the hotspots of the diseases and where precisely drone can actually help in targeted spraying based on the intensity of the disease and the spread, so that we can actually save the environment with the from actually getting deteriorated because of the chemical spray. So this is one area that has a lot of future applications and the actual potential of using the drones in agriculture field. One area which we also found it very useful was in water hyacinth, estimating the spread and the biomass of water hyacinth, which is an invasive weed. This is really a problem not only in India but also in Africa. And thankfully, the multispectral sensors that are there available in the market helped us to actually pin down water hyacinth spread, because this is actually a big nuisance in the water bodies of Africa and India and around the globe, because it hinders the livelihoods of farmers, and also the fishermen farmers basically, and also the tourism that happens in those places. As I told you earlier, we are very keen to bring in gamifying an app for rural communities, especially in the use of their common pool of resources like water and the type of crops they choose for farming. when we want to increase, the objective here is to increase participation in the development schemes that government has or the non-governmental agencies have in rural areas. We find the change in behavior is a challenge, and participation is the biggest hindrance actually in the fulfillment of the objectives, especially in rural areas. So this board game actually helps in creating anxiety among people that why did they not win the game. So that leads to a discussion which fairly ends in appreciating the proper judicious utilization of water and selection of a crop, because that's what is going to help the whole community as a whole. So we are working right now in Odisha. This is still in a piloting stage, but a very interesting breakthrough in terms of gamification areas, applications for agriculture. And also there are tools for measuring sustainability and resilience in the farming systems. So our this is in conjunction with our agriculture economics team. We have with the ICRISAT. We will be going. We have a tool that is available, a web-based tool, which has got more than 120 indicators for all these 5 different areas of environment, concerning productivity, then the social aspects, human well-being, all these things into a framework of questions and answers relating to it, and then giving a number or an index for judging the sustainability and resilience of the system that we are trying to evaluate. For example, in this talk, I don't want to miss out the use of remote sensing, which is in vogue everywhere. The big data science that we talk about is using existing data sources. So ICRISAT with a lot of very good, actually, the soil laboratories and working for soil health related aspects in development projects in watershed areas and in landscapes. We had a lot of data on soil health, and we tried to use remote sensing tool to actually evaluate and see if we can actually predict the future soil health. So one of the things that we were able to break was in the area of soil pH, which really related better than any of the soil health parameters that we were able to use using open source Sentinel-1 SAR data. So this is one area that we feel the use of technologies can actually bring down the costs of the wet chemistry in the long run. Now, as my previous speaker talked about carbon farming, ICRISAT has, and the 1CJR research institutions have a big role to play in the type of research that should be undertaken in this marketplace, where you can do work towards increasing the transparency that everybody seeks. So, and also the accountability to the smallholder farmers. So we all work towards bringing down the left-hand side, animal emissions, water use, pesticides, energy, the cost of cultivation, and also then increase what is on the right-hand side in green, the ecosystem services, increasing quality of water, nutrient efficiency, and regenerative practices for lowering the carbon footprint. And now we don't want to ignore the role that traceability plays in blockchain technology for the developing world, and its importance to increase exports, and also for tracing out any problems that are seen in terms of diseases. We are grateful to the Prime Minister of India last year when he was here in ICRISAT for the 50 years Jubilee celebrations, on the importance of getting together all the players within India to have a digital ag strategy. And we conducted a workshop, and thanks to all our support we get from our partners from around the world, we had a workshop with the Indian Council of Agriculture Research to take this forward. And thank you for listening to me.